Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayan Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayetu Diriyet Nashta Prayeshu Abhatreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Nashtaki. Hare Krishna. So today we are reading from Canto 2, entitled Cosmic Manifestation, the Cosmic Manifestation, and Chapter 3, the Pure Devotional Service, and the verse is 14, verse number 14. Etak chu shru shata satam vidvan sutar no hasi bhashitum katha hari katho drakha satam syu sadashi dhruvam etak chu shru satam vidvan sutar no harsi bhashitum katha hari katho drakha satam syu sadasi dhruvam etak chu shru satam vidvan suta no hasi bhashitum katha hari katho drakaha satam syu sadasi dhruvam. Anyone would like to repeat?
Etachushrushatam vidvan sutanor hasibasitum katahari kato dharka satam syu sadasi dhruvam.
Etachushrushatam vidvan sutano harshasi bhashitam katahari kato dharka satam syu sadasi dhruvam. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you so much. Anyone else?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Etachichushru satam vidvan sutano arhasi bhashitum katha hari katho darkaha satam syu sadasi dhruvam. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Etachushru satam vidvan sutano arhasi bhashitum katha hari katho darka satam syu sadasi dhruvam.
Anyone else want to recite? All right. Synonyms. Etat, this. Su shrut satam, of those eager to hear. Vidwan, O learned Sutta. Sutta Goswami. Naha, onto. Us. Arhasi, may you do it. Bhashitum, sorry about that. Bhashitum, just to explain it. Kataha, topics. Hari Katha Udrakaha, result in the topics of the Lord. Satam, of the devotees. Sihu, maybe. Sadasi, in the assembly of. Dhruvam, certainly. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation: O learned Sutta Goswami, please continue to explain such topics to us because we are all eager to hear. Besides that, topics which result in the discussion of the Lord Hari should certainly be discussed in the assembly of devotees. Purport: as we have already quoted above from the Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu of Rupa Goswami, even mundane things, if dovetailed in the service of Lord Sri Krishna, are accepted as transcendental. For example, the epics or the histories of Ramayana and Mahabharata, which are specifically recommended for the less intelligent classes, women, Shudras, and unworthy sons of the higher class, castes, are also accepted as Vedic literature because they are compiled in connection with the activities of the Lord. Mahabharata is accepted as the fifth division of the Vedas after its first four divisions, namely Sama, Yajur, Rig, and Atharva. The less intelligent do not accept Mahabharata as part of the Vedas, but great sages and authorities accept it as the fifth division of the Vedas. Bhagavad Gita is also part of the Vedas, and it is full of the Lord's instructions for the less intelligent class of men. Some less intelligent men say that Bhagavad Gita is not meant for householders, but such foolish men forget that Bhagavad Gita was explained to Arjuna, a grihastha, family man, and spoken by the Lord in his role as a grihastha. So Bhagavad Gita, although containing the high philosophy of the Vedic wisdom, is for the beginners in the transcendental science, and Srimad Bhagavatam is for graduates and postgraduates in the transcendental science. Therefore, literatures like Mahabharata, the Puranas, and similar other literatures, which are full of the pastimes of the Lord, are all transcendental literatures, and they should be discussed with full confidence in the society of great devotees. The difficulty is that such literatures, when discussed by professional men, appear to be mundane literature like histories or epics, because there are so many historical facts and figures. It is said here, therefore, that such literatures should be discussed in the assembly of devotees. Unless they are discussed by devotees, such literatures cannot be relished by the higher class of men. So the conclusion is that the Lord is impersonal in the ultimate issue. He is the supreme person, and he has his different activities. He is the leader of all living entities, and he descends at his will and by his personal energy to reclaim the fallen souls. Thus, he plays exactly like the social, political, or religious leaders, because such roles ultimately culminate in the discussion of topics of the Lord.
Looks like she's frozen again. I'll continue reading and hopefully she'll come back in time. So I'll start from here. Unless they are discussed by devotees, such literatures cannot be relished by the higher class of men. So the conclusion is that the Lord is not impersonal in the ultimate issue. He is the supreme person and he has his different activities. He is the leader of all living entities and he descends at his will and by his personal energy to reclaim the fallen souls. Thus, he plays exactly like the social, political, or religious leaders. Because such roles ultimately culminate in the discussion of topics of the Lord, all such preliminary topics are also transcendental. That is the way of spiritualizing the civic activities of human society. Men have inclinations for studying history and many other mundane literatures. Stories, fiction, dramas, magazines, newspapers, etc. So let them be dovetailed with the transcendental service of the Lord, and all of them will turn to the topics relished by devotees. The propaganda that the Lord is impersonal, that he has no activity, and that he is a dumb stone without any name and form has encouraged people to become godless, faithless demons, and the more they deviate from the transcendental activities of the Lord, the more they become accustomed to mundane activities that only clear their path to hell instead of return them home back to Godhead. Srimad Bhagavatam begins from the history of the Pandavas, with necessary political and social activities. And yet, Srimad Bhagavatam is said to be the Paramahamsa Samhita, or the Vedic literature meant for the topmost transcendentalists, and it describes Param Jnanam, the highest transcendental knowledge. Pure devotees of the Lord are all Paramhamsas, and they are like the swans who know the art of sucking milk out of a mixture of milk and water.
Okay. So I'm back, Mataji. Am I visible? I'm sorry. I don't know what's happening with the internet.
That's
I'm
okay. It is only testing our patience, and we have the grit to get through it.
So-
Very clear. And
I'm joining in with my phone now, not the laptop, because I think there is some problem in there. So yes, thank you much for reading. And the side note here is even 50 years ago, the social structure of all Indians was so arranged that they would not read any literature that was not connected with the activities of the Lord, that would not play any drama not connected with the Lord. They would not organize a fair or ceremony not connected with the Lord, nor would they visit a place that was not holy and sanctified by the pastimes of the Lord. Therefore, even the common man in the village would talk about Ramayana and Bharata, Gita and Bhagavatam, even from his very childhood. But by the influence of the age of Kali, they have dragged to the civilization of dogs and hogs, laboring for bread without any sense of transcendental knowledge. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunlitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mayam Dadati Swapadantikam Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Jai Swaminiti Namine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. I'm so sorry for all the technical problems this morning. First of all, I would like to extend my heartfelt gratitude for giving me this opportunities to speak on the topics of Srimad Bhagavatam this morning, and also my humble obeisances to all the exalted Vaishnavas present on the call. And I'm definitely for the satisfaction of the Lord as well as devotee, and for my purification, I would like to speak on today's words. But I really need all of your blessings. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhuva evacha patita nama pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. So in this verse, we can see that how Prabhupada is emphasizing on reading, on hearing. And reading is also a kind of hearing, actually. When we read, then we hear from Prabhupada, from purpose of the Prabhupada. So hearing is such an important aspect of devotional life. In fact, we can see that how Shaunaka Rishis, they are so excited and eager to hear from Sutta Goswami. If we see in first chapter, Canto 1, there is all the rishis, all the sages of Naimisharanya, they are asking from Sutta Goswami with so much excitement and eagerness about Lord Sri Krishna. And there is a particular verse, Vayam tu na vitrapayama uttam shloka vikrame yak Srinatvatam rasa jnanam swadu swadu pade pade. And the translation for that is, we never tire of hearing the transcendental pastimes of the personality of Godhead, who is glorified by hymns and prayers. Those who have developed a taste for transcendental relationships with him relish hearing of his pastimes at every moment. So again, Shaunaka Rishis, again, sages of Naimisharanya, headed by Shaunaka Rishi, they are asking questions from Sutta Goswami. And we can see in the translation, which is, O learned Sutta Goswami, please continue to explain such topics to us, because we are all eager to hear. Besides that, topics which result in the discussion of the Lord Hari should certainly be discussed in the assembly of devotees. Now, there are so many topics in this world to hear. There are so many mundane topics: politics, sports, science, movies, games, so many things are there. And these are all mundane topics. But Prabhupada is mentioning here about those topics which are transcendental. And why these topics are transcendental? Because they are connected with the activities of Krishna. And Prabhupada is even mentioning that Ramayana and Mahabharata, they were created for the less intelligent class of people. And even those literature, Ramayana and Mahabharata, they are celebrated as transcendental literature, because Ramayana and Mahabharata, there are lots of stories in that. And in Bhagavata, Bhagavad Gita, there is so much philosophy in that. So because of stories, maybe they are calling it the literatures, the histories for less intelligent class of people. And still, they are very important. Why? Because they are connected with the activities of the Lord. And it is very important to hear. If we see in Canto 7, chapter 5, when Hiranyakashipu asked Prahlad Maharaj, what did he learn in his school? At that point, he also mentioned this very famous shloka: Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu, Smaranam Pada Sevanam, Archanam Vandanam Dasyam, Sakhyam Atma Nivedanam. So, first limb of the bhakti is Shravanam. Sometimes they say that one limb of the bhakti leads to another limb of the bhakti, or sometimes they say that one limb of the bhakti, we grab onto it, then it can help us in progressing in our spiritual life. But Shravanam, anyways, is very important. We have 12 Mahajans, and we always say in our Sampradaya, Mahajano Yena Gata Sapantaha, Chaitanya Charitamrita, Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Leela. This line always comes. So our Mahajans, when I was reading this verse, I was thinking that let me just pull some of these stories of our Mahajans who actually became Mahajans because of hearing. And there are different kinds of hearings or hearing also. As we always say that speaking is an art, and but hearing is also an art. And we will learn that how hearing is an art too in today's session. But let's just hear about some of our Mahajans. So I was mentioning about Prahlad Maharaj. He is one of the Mahajan. So he heard when he was in the womb of his mother, Kayadu. He heard from his spiritual master, Narad Muni. And he heard it so nicely that he followed that in his entire life. Although, of course, he was a devotee, a born devotee, and it was all planned by the Lord that Prahlad will come, and that's how the incarnation of Narsingadev will happen, Lord Narsimhadev will happen. But still, the importance of hearing is so much that Prahlad Maharaj, once he heard in the womb of his mother, he just continued that spirit of that instructions. He took those instructions so seriously that he followed those instructions throughout his life. And also in Canto 1, few chapters, I think chapter 7, is it in chapter 6 or 7, the appearance of Narad Muni, we can see that Narad Muni, he in previous day of Brahma, he was a son of a maid servant. And maid servant. And in Chaturmas, Chaturmas, this rainy season, in the 4 months of rainy season, devotees of the Lord came, and his mother was serving all of them. And how he took the remnants of them, of those devotees, and accepted the instructions from them. And then he started contemplating on them. And that's how, if we read the chapter, then we get to know how Narad Muni just left his home when his mother passed away. And then he was meditating in a forest. And there also, when he was meditating, he saw Lord in his heart. And then when he was he was not able to find Lord in his heart anymore, after a minute or so, at that point he became so unsatisfied, and he was looking everywhere. And then he heard the voice of the Lord. So hearing is very important, and we can see that how hearing is contributing in the progress of devotional service, even for these Mahajans. And also, if we can see Lord Brahma, he heard Chaturshloki Bhagavatam from Lord himself before the start of the creation. We will read about those 4 shlokas, 4 Chatushloki Bhagavatam in chapter 9 of Canto 2, 33, 34, 35, 36. Those were the shlokas which were given by Lord Krishna, Lord himself to Brahma. So he also did the work of hearing before he created this universe. So if we see we can see that how Mahajans, they are also they are also putting importance on the limb of hearing. Shravanam is very, very important. And now how Bhagavatam, Srimad Bhagavatam, he came, how Srimad Bhagavatam it came to all of us, because because Parikshit Maharaj, he expressed the eagerness to hear about the Lord in his last 7 days. When he got this news that he was cursed by Shringi, he did not get disturbed. He took it as an opportunity to come more closer to the Lord. If we see, actually, we all have 7 days of life, Sunday, from Sunday till Saturday. If we can see any day, any of these 7 days, we can die. And Parikshit Maharaj is setting an example how we can live our lives, so that at the end of our life, we can go back to Golok Vrindavan. So that's how hearing is very, very important. And Prabhupada is also mentioning in this verse that, we give our ears to other mundane things, but what happened after we hear? So this is a process. When he hear, it's not that just we are hearing, we are contemplating in our mind. And when we are contemplating the subject matter which we heard, and then our thoughts become like that, what we heard, our thoughts generate into that. And when our thoughts become like that, we get attracted to that subject matter which we heard. For example, if we watch a movie, then at that time we start thinking, contemplating about the movie. Okay, this happened and that happened. Our thoughts just go in there, and then we start getting attracting towards hearing more and more movies, and these all shows which come. So it is the sometimes devotees ask, they ask why in ISKCON people say do not watch movie, or do not do this, do not do that, because I am chanting my rounds, I am following my regulative principles, and then that's all. What is the problem? There is a way, right? I have to go to upstairs, so there is an elevator and there is a way by stairs. So if I'm going to 24th if I'm going to 24th floor through stairs, it's going to take a very, very long time, and maybe I can get tired in between of my way. But if I can take the elevator, I will go without any effort. I will just go on 24th floor. So similarly, if I'm going to put my mind into different things, then what's going to happen? I'm going to get tired or distracted from my way. Definitely, we are following regulative principles, we are chanting, but if we are going here and there, then it is going to take a long time than it should actually take. So if we want to take the elevator, then we should follow the rules, principle, and all the instruction which our senior Vaishnavas are telling us to do. And it is very, very important. And we can see even in Chaitanya Charitamrita, There is a very beautiful story that how king of Jagannath Puri, King Pratarpurta, he was very eager to meet Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And once it happened that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was dancing in Jagannath Rath Yatra, and this King Pratarpurta, he was sweeping the floor of, he was sweeping the roads of Jagannath Puri with a golden broom. And Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in his ecstasy, he fell on the ground. This king, he, with all respect, he tried to pick up Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he regained his consciousness, he saw this king touching him. Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, "Chi chi, Vishai, Vishai." That means that he is he is on the position because he's a king. So he has to engage in so many materialistic activities. He is he is very mundane. So Chaitanya, although in heart Chaitanya Mahaprabhu knew, because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Lord, he knew that he's such a nice devotee. But in order to set an example that how we should not mingle ourselves with the with Vishai people, he was displaying this pastime. And then on the other event, we see that how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, once he was resting in a garden, and Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, he told this king to dress like a mendicant and just go and massage the feet of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he did that. And at that time, he was reciting Gopi Gita from Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto. And when he was reciting, then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in his sleep, he kept saying, "Recite more, recite more, recite more." And then he kept reciting, and Chaitanya, and the verse which he kept reciting again and again, that was Tava Kathamritam Tapta Jivanam Kabibhiriditam Kalmashapaham Shravana Mangalam Srimadat Atmatam Bhuvi Graneti Ye Bhurida Jana. So we can see, and at that point, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he woke up from his sleep and he embraced King Prataparudra, and they both were crying, shedding tears. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, you gave me such nectars of your word. At that time, when he realized that this is King Prataparudra, then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu embraced him even one more time. So this is the magic of Srimad Bhagavatam, or hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he is displaying all these pastimes as a devotee to instruct all of us that how eagerly we should hear and relish this fruit of Srimad Bhagavatam. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, along with Gadadhar Pandit in Tota Gopinath, used to read Srimad Bhagavatam for at least 3 hours every day. So and even before starting off every session, every class in the morning, we always recite this prayer: Nashtu Prayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. So Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya, and also we know Nigam Kalpataru Galitam Phalam. This is the fruit, ripened fruit of all the Vedic literatures. And we have to Nitya Sevaya, we have to take it. Nitya Sevya, we have to take it so that our anarthas, all the dirty things in our mind get destroyed. And that's how we can remain Krishna conscious throughout the day. So that's why Srila Prabhupada has manufactured this process of hearing Srimad Bhagavatam in the morning, and Bhagavad Gita we recite in the evening, so that the entire day of a devotee goes in hearing and contemplating on the subject matters of the Lord. And so it is very important to hear. That's what the point I was trying to make. And there are different kinds of hearing also. So as Prabhupada mentioned here, that this is Kali Yuga, and the hearing, the kind of because this is Kali Yuga, so the quality of hearing is also declining. So when speaker is speaking, as I said, that it's an art of presenting, but hearing is also an art. And so I just jot down some of the points of hearing, just to see how we can, how we hear also. So there are certain points, but broadly what I thought, I just pointed out in here. First is hearing attentively, hearing with enthusiasm, hearing with submissiveness, inattentive hearing, selective hearing, and hearing in a challenging mood. So there are some of the points which I just jotted down. So hearing attentively, obviously this is very important to hear attentively. As we can see how Shaunak sages from Naimisharanya, Narad Muni, and Prahlad Maharaj, they heard attentively, with their mind and body all together present, with with their all the senses. And we know that when Parikshit Maharaj, so Shuk Goswami, when Shukdev Goswami, when he was reciting Srimad Bhagavatam to him, then he was very attentive. He was that attentive that he was not even feeling hungry or thirsty. And the same kind of hearing we can see in the entire Srimad Bhagavatam, whether Vidur ji is asking questions from Maitre Muni, or whether Nav Yogendras, they are, whether Maharaj Nimi, he is hearing from Nav Yogendras in Canto 11, and whether it is, these are instructions. So there are, we can see that in the entire Srimad Bhagavatam, attentive hearing is so important. It's very important, attentive hearing. If we are not attentive, then all whatever the speaker is speaking is just like a show. It's just like a show without the volume, and he is speaking and we are not hearing anything. That's one, the attentive hearing, and that's what we should follow. And then other hearing with enthusiasm. So it is very important to have enthusiasm for hearing too. It is like we should hear with so much eagerness to learn about Krishna, and we should not be just gathering here just as a ritual, or just to show that, okay, I'm present on the call. Because of COVID, this online classes are very, they are now very prevalent, but they also provide opportunities to all of us who cannot go to the temple every day to hear. So it's very important also. So we just, okay, the class is going on, I'm just there just to show that, okay, I am there, but I'm not hearing anything. So hearing enthusiastically is very important too, to know about Krishna, what the other verse will say. Like, when we read stories, then we say, what next? What next? Then what? Then what? We always keep saying, because we get an attachment for that story. So enthusiastic people show how they are attached to the story, or how they are attached to the subject matter of Krishna. And then it also give encouragement to the speaker also, because when speaker sees that everybody is listening so carefully, this gives the speaker an encouragement to speak more on that particular subject matter of Krishna. And then it is, say, hearing submissively. Hearing submissively means that, so hearing submissively and hearing in a challenge mood, they go in opposite ways. So hearing submissively, that yes, what the speaker is saying, he prepared from some of the shastras or from the lectures of Prabhupada. We should have this kind of faith. Obviously, of course, it is corrections reflections, comments are always welcome for the speaker, because it is going to help the speaker to improve in his or her service for the future. But it should not be done in a challenging mood. It should not be, okay, this person is very new to Krishna conscious. This person don't know as many shlokas as I know, and this person don't know the philosophy as I know. So when we think like that, or when we try to hear like that, then we miss the point. When we miss the point of understanding that subject matter of Krishna, because as Paramatma, in Paramatma feature, Krishna is present in all of our hearts, and he knows what we are thinking. He knows what with what mood we are hearing. He knows that. So it is very important, and we know that Srimad Bhagavatam is not different from Krishna. So there are two types of Harikatha. One is directly spoken by Krishna, and other is spoken about the activities of Krishna, about the subject matter of Krishna's. Just like we discussed about Mahabharata and Ramayana. Bhagavad Gita, it was directly spoken by Krishna himself, but Srimad Bhagavatam, it's about Krishna. It has philosophy, and it has so many stories of pastimes of Lord's devotees as well as Lord himself. So it is very important to hear attentively, enthusiastically, submissively, and not in a challenging mood. Even in one of the purports I was reading, I don't know the exact verse, I think in chapter 1 of Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, where Prabhupada is mentioning we should ask questions, or if we want to correct, it should be done in a very sublime way, so that it should be done in such a way in order to encourage the speaker, not to challenge, okay, how you do know this, how you. So it is very, very important of how we hear also. And next is selective hearing, which I mentioned. So selective hearing is when we start a topic, and a person, when we hear, we think, oh, okay, I know this. This is Prahlad Maharaj story. I know this. I heard it like so many times. Prahlad Maharaj story. So it is not anything new for me. So it happens when we hear, in yesterday's class, I was listening, Prabhu mentioned that today's newspaper is tomorrow's waste, right? So when we hear, when we read other mundane topics, other literatures, even dramas, magazines, stories, fiction, anything, maybe it is very exciting for like 3 months, 4 months, but at one point of time, what we think, okay, now I cannot read it again. I read it so many times. But when Srimad Bhagavatam or Bhagavad Gita come, and all the transcendental topics come, then we can see that how whenever we read, there is always new light to it, all the time. And whenever I can give I can tell you about myself, that whenever I read the purport, and even if I read the same purport the next day, I always think, did I read this purport yesterday? And this purport is kind of new for me, because this is really new. I did not gather this information yesterday. So it feels like that. And stories of the Lord, no matter how many times we hear about Prahlad Maharaj, Dhruv Maharaj, and other famous stories, we just get attracted to those stories. Why? Because they are transcendental subject matters of the Lord. And therefore, the selective hearing is is not recommendable. It's not like that, okay, this speaker is very good. Yeah, it happens in kirtans also. This kirtaniya is very good. This speaker is my favorite. So I'm going to listen to him or her, and not listen to this person or that person. We should not be doing that. We should think that these are the subject matters of Krishna, and it is spoken by Shukdev Goswami, coming from Vedavyas, who is the incarnation of Lord. And whatever it is, who is speaking and who is giving us katha, this is still Hari Katha. But it leads us to the another portion of our discussion, which Prabhupada mentioned. I'm sorry, which is there in the translation, should certainly be discussed in the assembly of devotees. Yes, should be only assembly of devotees. Now, Prabhupada, I was looking for some of the points for this in the assembly of devotees. So it is very, very important to hear from devotee or a Vaishnava. Now, how we can say that this person is a Vaishnava? If the person has full faith in the personal form of Lord Shri Krishna, and also if he is in the disciplic succession of an authoritative disciplic succession he is coming, then we should understand that, okay, we can hear from that. Even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he said, Mayavadi bhashya sunile hai sarv nash. How is sarvanash? He used sarvanash. This is a very strong word. Sarvanash. Everything will get destroyed if we hear from Mayavadis or from professional teachers. Now we can see in India and even here also, it's very common that people, general people, they made Srimad Bhagavatam recitation as a profession. They do it, and in turn of that, they are getting money, they are getting fame out of it. So the intention is very, very important. So Prabhupada said, we should not listen to such people who are a Vaishnava, who are a Vaishnavas. So also, he is giving one of the example. For example, milk and rice cooked together, it becomes kheer, sweet rice. And if we add some sand particles into that kheer, then if we eat that kheer will taste good with one spoon, but another spoon we will get the taste of sand particles, and we will be like, something is coming into my mouth, I am not going to take it, like that. So similarly, when we get the interpretation from those people who are not devotees or Vaishnavas, they are kind of adding some sand particles in that sweet rice of Srimad Bhagavatam. And if we are taking it, then if we are taking that kheer, then we are going to get sick. More and more sick we are going to get. And even Srila Sanatana Goswami, he mentioned one verse, Avaishnava mukhod grinam putam hari kathamritam shravanam naeva kritabhyam. So he is saying that Hari Katha, because it is about Krishna and Krishna is speaking, is definitely very pure and very nourishing. But we should not hear from a person who is not a devotee and he is a professional man or so-called scholar and politician. He says, Sanatan Goswami is saying, do not hear it, a Vaishnava, because he is not a Vaishnava. And now we can ask why. So in reply to that, he is saying, Sarpochistam yatha payaha. Just like milk is very good food for us, but if it is touched by the thin tongue of the serpent, then the milk will become poisonous. And if anyone can take that milk, so that person will get that particular person will going to die. So similarly, it is so dangerous to hear from such people who just interpret Hari Katha according to their own goals. I heard sometimes when I was small, and I was not connected to the parampara when I was small, then I heard there were so many versions of Srimad Bhagavatam, and also in Bhagavad Gita also, the speaker used to say that in Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna is forcing Arjuna to fight. But as devotees now, we can see that Lord is using Arjuna as an instrument for executing his own mission, which is Sarva Dharmana, Paritranayata Sadhunam Vinashaya Cha Dushkrita. Lord is using Arjuna, and Lord is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and whatever instructions he is providing to Arjun and to all the Pandavas, that should be executed. So as devotees of the Lord, we understand this fact, but these professional reciters, they don't understand, and they think that it's okay to interpret things according to our goals, or to achieve our fame, money in this world. So we have to be, so listener, it is the responsibility of the listener. We should not just give our ear to anybody. We should not just hear from anybody. Yeah, I remember people asking, why it's like that, why you are so conservative that, okay, I'm not going to hear from this, or from this, because Prabhupada, our acharyas, they are telling us that how important it is to hear from the right source. When we hear from the right source, then the message coming from the top till the bottom, it will be the exact message. It is not going to get distorted on the way. So it's very, very important to not to get misguided. So in not to get misguided. So in this case, we can see that how hearing is playing hearing is playing its role very nicely. Hearing is playing so nicely its role that we know that hearing is important, and we should be eager, we should be attentive, we should be enthusiastic, and we should not be challenging, and uh, we should not do selective hearing, but only in the assembly of devotees we should hear, and not we should not go here and there. And hearing, it has so much importance that even Rukmani Devi, she heard about Lord Sri Krishna, and then when she heard about Lord Sri Krishna, although she did not see Lord, but she started loving him, and she just took a vow that if I am going to get married, then it will be only Lord Sri Krishna. Of course, we know that she is the eternal consent of Lord, but consort of Lord. But the importance of hearing is still here. We can see we can see Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada, our beloved Acharya, he was so interested in hearing the message of his Guru Maharaj. In one of the lectures in Vrindavan in 1972, Prabhupada is mentioning that how my Guru Maharaj, he used to say that some people are in Danvat class. Danvat class means they just want to do Danvats, and they are not interested in hearing. But because I was interested in hearing, so he accepted me as his disciple. So that's what Prabhupada mentioned in one of his lectures. And also Srila Prabhupada gave a very beautiful class on this verse which we are discussing today. So I was hearing to that class, and just want to mention a few points from that lecture, because it is always very helpful to hear Srila Prabhupada, so that we can gather some more points on that. So Prabhupada is mentioning in that class that we should be Krishna conscious all the time, 24 hours. And how it is going to happen? It is going to happen with the practice. Abhyasa yoga yuktena chetasa nanya gamina. Bhagavad Gita 8.8. And Prabhupada is also saying the same point, which we also already discussed. We should not allow our mind to go here and there. So, samartavyaha satato Vishnu. Krishna consciousness means to remember Krishna or Vishnu entire day. Remember all the time, all day long. And Srimad Bhagavad Gita, Lord Shri Krishna is also mentioning in 9.14, Satatam kirtayanto mam yatantascha dridhavrataha. All the time, Satatam kirtayanto mam. All the time, chant my glories for my devotees. And because we are eternal part and parcel of Lord Shri Krishna, we are similar in quality with Krishna, that achintya abheda bhed tattva again, the quality of, so we want something for enjoyment, because Krishna's nature is eternal, blissful, and knowledgeable. So we want something for the enjoyment too, for our satisfaction. And Tushyanti cha ramanti cha. So Prabhupada is mentioning even here, we require some satisfaction and some enjoyment because that is our nature. Anandamayo bhayasat. Vedanta Sutra 1.1.12. So we want anand, simply pleasure. That is our nature. And how we are going to get this anand or enjoyment? We are going to get anand, enjoyment, when we will connect ourselves with Lord Sri Krishna. Prabhupada is giving a very beautiful example here of a machine which has different parts. And if the parts get separated from that machine, then that particular separated parts will no longer have any value. Similarly, Prabhupada is saying, as just like a machine, when we get together with Krishna, then only we will get the pleasure. This temporary pleasure in this mundane world, which we are getting, it's just like a flickering pleasure, and it's not even pleasure. It's like a camel eating his own jaws, eating thorns, and he is thinking, oh, I'm getting pleasure. Although he's getting pleasure from his own blood. It's like that. So this material world is a place of dukhalya, but at the same time, because of the Kali Yuga, we get this Sankirtan movement, and we get this chanting of Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, and we can make the best use of Kali Yuga by chanting, by regularly hearing Srimad Bhagavatam in the assembly of devotees, and that's very, very important, as Prabhupada is mentioning in almost all of his class. So that's what Prabhupada is mentioning. So I think, yeah. And yeah, Prabhupada also mentioned in the same class that how this America is so wealthy, such wealthy nation. And because it is so wealthy nation, so that's why, but there is lack of Krishna consciousness. So it is very important to infuse Krishna consciousness in everything, even in our country. So Prabhupada is encouraging his disciples to go out and preach the message of Krishna to everybody. That's just the purpose of Krishna consciousness. So I think it's so the main thing which we discussed today, just to conclude in 2 words, 2 lines, I would say that it is very important to hear attentively about the subject matters of Krishna, and that too from the right source, from the right authority, and then we will make a very good progress in our spiritual life. Hare Krishna. I'm going to stop here. If anyone has any kind of comments, any corrections or anything, I am open to that. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for the all of your attention. Okay, if there are no comments, so maybe we can leave the meeting. Okay.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Pranam.
Hare Krishna Mataji, pranam.
It was such a nice class, Mataji. And, for the first time, I just hear about, like, how you say, like, Parikshit Maharaj was dying in 7 days, and you were, like, connecting with our 7 days. And we are every time we are getting into those 7 days, right? Any days we can die in those 7 days. That connection was really nice, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you for your kind.
Thank you very much, Mataji. About mentioning about Mahajans, it's very good.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Everything was in this class, Mataji.
Covered a lot of things.
Bhagavatam.
Thank you so much. Okay.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
One chuckle.
Yeah. Hare Krishna.
Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavi.
Vaishnavebhyo Namo. Thank you so much, Mataji.
Thank you, Madhavu Gaurangi Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Any announcements, Dronacharya Prabhu?
No announcements.
Okay.
We have today. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhu vaye
Nam Bhavanevyo Vaishnaveyo